do know. I do know some things, and I know a lot about the Human League. Don't you want me, baby? Do-do-do. Don't you want me? Oh. Now, I was working in a waitress as a cocktail bar, and unfortunately the absurdity got lost on a lot of people, but I'm trying to get a Phil Oakey haircut here, and well, it was okay, it was good, and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, what does Oakey want when he's doing the haircut thing? I thought, he wants to cover one eye. I want to be tall as a wall. Want to be tall. I told you I knew a bit about the Human League. And many people have asked me, they've said, what do you mean singing that particular tune? Well, I think Oakey was, he was pretty tall. He was few inches, perhaps one side of 6 foot, up or down, we don't know. And he had the haircut that covered one eye, and I think he was looking over the wall to try and establish what was there, and give himself a bit of a chance, you know, looking at what was beyond that wall, in order to find a sufficient reason to carry on. What we could say is that Oakey was trying to interpret the zeitgeist. He was looking at the times, and he was trying to get a handle on the times, and looking at you, the viewer, the listener to the record, and he was picking the wax out of his ear and playing about with it in a malleable way, as if to say, you are the audience, your ear, this stuff in it is the stuff that I'm saying, and it will grow into a ball eventually, and it will engulf your head and probably grow some teeth and eat your head. I think that's what Phil Oakey was saying. Some people may have taken issue with that and decided that wasn't quite what it was all about. Whereas Stephen Malander, yes, Stephen Malander of Cabaret Voltaire, he was always looking to forge links with people through an artistic, dancey keyboard type of way. Now, often Malander would wear a pair of spectacles. Sometimes he'd wear them like that. Other times he'd be sensorially wearing them like this, but all the time he'd be slugging for Jesus. And don't you forget it. I'll tell you what's important about these Sheffield electropop bands in the early 80s were that they were basically Frank Zappa and the Mothers and Captain Beefheart and all that transferred to keyboards with the aid of a bit of craft work, and we saw things, I like that, that hadn't really been done before. And Throbbing Gristle did 20 jazz funk greats at the same time. Is that a stormer? I'll leave it to you, listener. So that's a surprise, isn't it? Now look, this is called beer. Now that's good, because we can carry on, we can have maybe another cigarette, and we can talk about some more electropop. Kraftwerk, they were Germans, they were okay, they didn't fight in the war before you British people start going, oh, Germans fought in the war, you know, blah, blah, blah. They were too young to be in the war, but they were in the war of punk, in a way, because the war of punk was, what it was all about was, Keith Emerson came along and started trolling about on the keyboard, and all that, and that wasn't acceptable really. You wanted some proper songs, and the LP unfortunately couldn't provide them. So what happened? Pardon me, that's belching, isn't it? But I've had a nice Carmagan, I can't say the word, curry, and as a result, I'm not capable of doing very many things. But punk rock came along and it removed the shit, basically, and it needed doing. It's a difficult thing trying to assess what everything means. I mean, I could talk about pop music forever, but it's not everything. I think, importantly, the defences of the seawall at Blackpool are very important, because if we let that go, a bloody great wave will come over and it'll swamp the entire town, which is not very good, really. I mean, they don't have this problem in Liverpool or Southport or Morecambe even up the road, because they bought a load of Human League records and Kraftwerk records. They built a wall out of them to keep the sea out, you see, down in Liverpool and up in Morecambe. So it's not too bad, they've sorted it out up there. Me, myself, I'm talking bollocks, and I'm about to go and get another beer. Now, a number of people have said to me, hey, you're a fashionable guy, you know where it's at. I'll tell you, watch this. This is a can of beer. And when I pop the top on that can of beer there, it takes a minute or two for it to fizz up, but what comes out of it? Hey, it's a picture of the Grumbleweeds. Now I'll tell you who the Grumbleweeds were. They're a fantastic entertainment cycle that existed from probably the late 1960s up to the present day. They haven't ever played Wembley Arena, but they have played North Pier, Blackpool on a number of occasions, and I'm impressed with that kind of professionalism, that kind of longevity, and that type of wacky comedy. Over to you, Brian. Enough of that. That's too good for you lot here, because that's what we call folk music, and folk music, if I may be permitted to go off into a treatise on folk music. Folk music is a kind of thing that we've lost nowadays because we can feel the power of the healing coming through the tube. Because basically we've lost touch with our souls. Yes, our soul. How tickled I am to be able to say that our souls were somewhat important, somewhat undervalued, and somewhat crapped upon, really. But anyhow, over to you, Mike.